the day. Now's the chance to take a couple of risks, try something new, see if it works, and plan for tomorrow. So get that step towards the final 5 and lock yourself up on the left side of the bracket.
Joker's looking to go west and maybe even just grab themselves some cars. That is it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time to go over to our commentary team once again for the last time of the day. It's going to be Sims and Demon.
Thank you very much, guys. So I just had a chat, Sims. I just had a chat with the Alliance coach, and he's like, "Oh, you know that they're not really, they're struggling to obviously with the rotations because they used to go in Sosnovka and stuff." And we just said it ourselves. You know, there's this almighty good team that plays on Erangel. They're called FaZe Clan, and there's a spot they go every game called Milta Power. It's been open the whole bloody time. Why are they going Kameshka Stauby again? Kameshka Stauber again when the plane literally went past an open Milta Power.
It's interesting, especially when this is kind of, to be honest, I would, as you know, if you were the coach, you'd be watching these maps in the back and knowing like Gatka, certainly even West Coast, Primorsk, it's open. It's all open, and you could be making these runs for these places. Don't get me wrong. Starba, Kameshki, and all the kind of areas around there, it's not exactly the worst thing in the world, but there's areas that they could be doing this. Circle does come in, the first one, and she's hovering smack bang over GOP. So Georgia Paul.
eSuba are like, I told you Zaki Loot
Thanks,
was right.
boys.
I told you Zaki Loot was right.
Cheers, Brendan. Finally getting a circle going their way. And that only puts us 4 teams in there. You can have Suba up at Zaki. North George will be to 7. South George at G2. And then you just see FB just lingering over the Gatka fields.
This is the tricky circle, though, right? I mean,
very much
you've
so.
got A, 50% water in there to start with. B, it's very much a north-south split between Georgia Pole River. And it's just like, where do you go? Do you risk it and send it north because there's a lot less compounds north? Or do you stick, you know, I guess some teams are maybe going to sit on top of Everest and hope, or maybe the edges of Georgia Pole? Because this honestly, from here, almost, well, obviously the central point is where 7 are right now in North Georgia Pole. That is the center. You don't want to go in Georgia Pole, though, this early.
No, you don't want to be going to George at all. It's a hard one, and this is where you play the extremities and then just hope to God. I mean, for now, if you get enough gear, taking the mountainside, the Georgia Pole Mountain would not be a bad shout because then you can kind of assess it from there and also being that high up, not many people can get you, provided you've got rock cover. Yeah, it depends where the next one goes because where it's going to shift, absolutely clueless. Does it go? It could go anywhere, and that's what's more worrying. It could take George, it could go more towards the shooting range, it could go up to Zaki, it could come all the way down to the mountainside. It's a weird one.
It could shift all the way up to shooting range, of all things.
This will be one where people just get in somewhere to a little compound, hold the point, and then just liquid it and just bomb the frigging circle when it moves.
Well, we're going to see SDF probably move in one of the earliest teams. They tend to be around the 5-minute mark and on they go. They did get down early, of course, are on the ruins. Alliance themselves just arriving in Stauber on the 4-minute mark. You know, boys, you could have been looting Milta for a full 3 minutes already. I do question sometimes the adaptation. You often see it from the American teams being able to adapt to circle changes. I would say, obviously, the one difference is, you know, they have played 2 rounds there. They just had a decent victory, well, not victory, a 3rd place in their last game, 2nd place, actually.
I think that was a victory for them.
It was a victory for them. They still have a lot of points to gain. Perhaps they're starting to get used to the rotations up this way, so therefore let's just stick with it.
I mean, this time around it throws a spanner in the works. They'll have to go through one team, and that team's going to be AP, who's taking Severny away from them. You may potentially have some rotators that are going to come up to the north as well, because that's where they're going to fly through. They're going to skirt the edges of Severny. I don't think they'll do the back road all the way on the north coastal road, so they're looking more towards just above the Rozok compounds on the hillside, taking it above on the big grassy green verges of the side of the shooting range. Teams are already starting to rotate early. I don't mind this, but obviously you're putting yourself out there because you're going to have mixed loot, so to speak. Zen sending Vasco off just to try and get an eye line on who's doing what and who's going where. He's already pulling up to maybe potentially go for one of the garages. SDF also have the same idea. They've taken the 4-quadrant whites, which will give them the crossroads, so they can kill people crossing the bridge or want to attempt to cross the bridge. It also gives them the backup for anyone who wants to move from Rozhok and come over the Rozhok bridge, just past the water town and so on and so forth. So they're covering the roads now. SDF potentially going for kills to bottleneck people, which again I'm absolutely okay with. Looks like OHM also have the same idea as they do, rotate down. Zen are going to take the garage compound just outside. You can see in the distance that the garage is just north, east of the crates here. G2 don't really have to do much. They're inside the circle. They can happily let people come their way and maybe get together in about 5 minutes' time and then look for any lurkers. It's all slow and steady. I don't really know.
Ooh, Tornado and Penta. Penta, we're talking about this, obviously, about teams going Novo. Nova was open. Crew deciding wisely together, I feel. Obviously, Primorsk was a long way off. But Penta are a team that do like to camp. Certainly that bridge area, try and pick up some kills. They just took a good couple of pot shots onto Melman. I think it was Chris and Melman trading blows. OHM, we can see here, pulling up at the standard bridge camp spot. Looks like they've been gifted this one. SDF have decided to go towards the hillside, more central than anything. Usuba, they're going to find themselves a couple of compounds down here. The historic compound, if anyone's got some Scoom history, where Scoom really made his mark in PUBG, I think, from this compound and then running out. That was way back in Oakland days. Alpachinki just up on high, looking like they wanted a piece of it as well, but set for the M24. Looking for a frag. It's 7, though. From North Georgia Pole, getting onto the hillside. Gets Walker down early on. Didn't finish off the frag, though, so we'll just get the revive off. Still 64 players alive as the teams really try and figure out where they're going. Gamers Legion looks like they're going to send it north, so they're choosing the northern side of the ridge. And I'm trying to think, we're trying to look at it. I guess theoretically there's a little bit more land mass of the north. But rotations from south to north are harder than north to south because obviously you're looking at compounds. Fenerbahce, though, going the opposite route. They're thinking we're going to sit South George, and G2, they're still looting. They haven't sort of realized they've been caught in this. We've got minutes and minutes to loot. It happens, right? We don't ages. We're in the circle. Carry on looting. I
mean, what G2 could do, they could send somebody across the bridge and then take both sides of George. So they could have basically make the bridge their own, which is then an ejection seat, so to speak. If it shifts north, boom, fly across. If it shifts south, boom, bring your scout back. So if they send one over, you could potentially just sit and chill. The West Coast will be getting very busy, as we do see 1, 2 teams of Vanguard and Jokers. They're all going to fly up the West Coast. They'll be laughing because they're a little bit clear, but they will hit G2 around about the West Town, or East Town, as some people like to call it. Crew are already still on the opposing side of the island. They actually have boats, so they, to be fairly, they could take the blue. They could do a very long strat and boat it.
Sit off in the coast.
They could literally boat it all the way around. It will be a slower side, so they'll avoid circle damage as well because the circle perpendicular to where the circle is going to be coming across. And then pick your poison, pick your mark. Just dump yourself in wherever you fancy it, wherever this next circle does update. Michael will be the only player on the map inside the blue. It's an interesting one as well because you'll see Alliance take the northern coastal road, but Tornado are hot on the heels. We might get an engagement here. There's potential for it.
Yeah, they're cutting across the Stauber Hills, so they may go for it. Kaint's heading towards this crate that is bouncing its way down Everest. Not too sure if he's going to go for it. No, he's going to pass on by. That's going to keep on dragging itself down the hill until it hits that rock. And we'll stop just before it. It is a Mark 14. Beautiful gun.
Silence mark as well. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Ammo to go with it. TSM in Rozhok at the moment. Just outside school in Rozhok. They're going to bide their time because they know they're going to be one of the later teams arriving in the circle. At the 10-minute mark, you're not going to be really looking at going center. You're going to be looking at trying to play edge and basically playing the numbers. Do you go north or south? They have a fairly clean run from Rozhok if they want to go into that north-south split. They could just sit, maybe even sit in the blue and wait for the buffer to come in. And I think it's going to be a pretty entertaining second phase here, whether it's the north-south. We're going to see where it goes. It could, of course, just center up, in which case, we could be in for a full-on Georgia Pole finish.
Yeah, if it centers, every single person's just going to go dive bombing into apartments and getting kind of any level of leverage.
You're going to get that, you know, like you got a GLL, that big overall sigh in the room. It's like, oh, a Georgie ball finish.
I can't picture where this will go. I really can. You'd assume.
You know what? This totally could be the fields of Zaki, which are very entertaining finishes because they're just so exposed.
Yeah. All the players coming out the back of the North Georgie Paul Towers, because you have that little verge once you go out the back of the
Over the road, yeah.
It's you go across the road, then you've got the flats, and then all of a sudden you get this big stupid verge. You just go across it and straight into a field of fire. It's a decent finish. Or I mean, there's still potential to do the complete polar opposite.
The standard
and when you look
south
down
circle.
towards the go all the way down south to the fields where you have the aerial tower in the middle. Even that's a good finish in itself. They're open fields, but they give you all these dips and divots that you can play off the back of.
Yeah,
Time will tell.
Penta are playing the numbers. They're sitting around Everest. They know they're late in. They've got themselves the crate as well. Brexico sending it over to the left side to see where it's going to go.
Center. Zaki.
Ooh, the fields of Zaki. Look like that's going to be the point, and that's going to be a very interesting finish. It's fairly rare, I'd safe to say. We do get finishes up here, but when we do, they're often very entertaining. Does, of course, mean that everybody needs to now move into this small peninsula area that Zaki and North Georgia Bowl hold.
G2 can hold this bridge. If they're smart about this, they'll pull the vehicles and they'll start battering people on arrival. They can hold this.
Well, there's number one, Fenerbahce.
Killed
Marco,
himself.
well, I guess he was getting lit up by Velen. But, yeah, that's one down. BSD actually looking for the shot on here. Velen with the M24 fancies a piece of it.
And now this is what you see, all these little mini engagements back and forth. Krabik wants to try and take down plays. Doesn't realize it sets inside with him, but 50% HP gets a tag. There is no frag there. Sigzy finally coming alive. Takes down Bjorn. That's a big loss for Game Malaysia. One of their lead fraggers and one of their main head of the snake, so to speak.
I tell you what, though, they're backing away from it, and Michael's coming in behind them as well. They could get penned in here because they've got nowhere to go. If they push down the side, they're going to go straight into Tornado. Meanwhile, Seven and Al Pachinki continue to trade blows on the top of North Pachinki. That's going to be a standard building-to-building warfare. OHM also moved into North Pachinki. G2 coming over the river into North Pachinki. Georgie Paul, one of them saying Pachinki, I've no idea.
Oh, no.
Josu, oh, no, he's just flushed out both the G2. This should be G2's circle.
And Michael's gone down as well. What?
They're down to one.
How in the frig did they manage to do that? The balls that one up.
How? I tell you what, Tornado and SDF are on top of one another. They're in the same compounds.
They've had a mare.
They are.
There.
Look at this. Here we go.
G2's had a complete mare. That should have been theirs. This was their circle. This was their area. They completely own George. All right, they've transferred across. I respect that. And clearly they must have just run straight to a team win.
So late coming from the bridge of South George that the OHM that were in this compound over on the right, the standard bridge compound, have got all the way over. Meanwhile, Tornado, X-Team doing what he needs to, hopping across. And that has caught SDF completely napping it. Did they just not expect someone to jump over there? Either way, that nade is going to push around the side. He's going to go for it. Going to little peek around the edge. It's going to be all sorts of trouble. Steph gets taken downstairs, and Tornado are being gifted frags. But look at this. Hamster getting involved. Third party comes in. But my word, SDF, they're down to one.
Everything going wrong for two teams, back to back. G2 down to one. SDF also just clinging on for life. Punching the window, trying to bait them out. He's done the job. They're all trying to proactively look for him outside. Camken might get eyes on the nope, he won't. He's looking away. He's going to get away with this one. They definitely heard the fall down. You can see now they're already looking, so they know exactly where he is. Camken will get the call.
We get the peek. Camken surely sees him there.
Why haven't they called this?
Oh, the nade came out. Instead, he's just trying to run away with it. The X-Team picks up another frag, and Sans Domicile goes down in 16th place. They had a good first day. It was fairly average overall, but they've had a terrible, terrible second day. TSM move into that little rocky outcrop in the fields that we were talking about. Penta look like they've got the hills as well. They are in a decent spot. Zuktat Nam coming in far from the east, and meanwhile we're seeing the crew here coming in the boats along with Fenerbahce.
Finally made it. All the way down from Military Island. They've finally arrived.
The Novo squad.
It took them a while, but you know what? They're here for the fight. And they're going to get lucky because they're going to arrive on that beachhead and there's going to be no one to actually put up a resistance against them, Lee. So if they take that little compound that they're heading towards, they could be sitting pretty, to be honest with you.
Avantgarde done it again. They've managed to somehow get the rotate where they've come in on the hill of Zaki. They know that their backs are completely covered. So all they are doing is 4-man looking forward, looking to engage, looking to see if they can get anything. Of course, still could be a big swing in this third circle. We're not at phase 4. Phase 4 will be where it will 100% pull away from water as best it can. Phase 3 could certainly have a large portion of water in it. TSM in that central position. Still nobody in that compound. Zuktat now might be looking at it and thinking, okay, we can just go over the ridgeline into that compound. The problem is once you're in there, it's very hard to get out.
Nade. Good nade.
That is a big nade. Was it cooked enough? No, it wasn't. Did a lot of damage to a crew, though.
Second one follow up, but that's going to fall and just trail off too much as well. You can see they're looking for the jump shot. That's going to be completely wide. Circle does home in. Exactly where these two teams have just made landfall. Now, the next one will be definitely moving away 100% from water, so you can get a very good rough guess of where this one's going to be. You look for the biggest area, so it will pretty much, I think, just centralize onto the island. TSM should be in a good position. Isuba should be absolutely laughing Joker's crew. I think they're all going to be pretty good at the moment. If I were these teams, I'd be looking for just survivability.
Back over North George. 7 and Alpachinki still trading blows back and forward. The CIS region team 7, they're languishing at the bottom of the table, but they might be picking up some frags here. Velen has also got involved. He's the last member of G2. And Edelweiss managing to do the job. Alf plays just outside the solo surviving man of Alpachinki. And that's a couple of teams down to solo single players now. He's just going to try and run away from this one, but it's a really tough spot to move from. Zukt and Nam coming in. They're sending it straight into the Jokers and Isuba need all the frags they can get.
That all came down to TSM. TSM have set up a little bit of a roadblock, and all of a sudden all these cars are just swinging on by, getting absolutely smashed into a million bits. Zen out of the frying pan, into the fire. You can hear gunshots in the distance. Look for them in the kill feed. They might also about to be get battered. They are weak. They are tanked. They are still alive. Christ knows how. But they're...
fantastic. Nearly.
Are you okay, mate?
But Velen, yeah, just stole that kill away. So 7 thought they'd finished off Alpachinki, but Velen nicked it. Meanwhile, the crew guys and Zuktat Nam that we're seeing here have come into South Zaki. And, of course, Joker's just the other side. Evil getting caught out in the cross. And Kutastic has to back away. It's our solo man remaining.
Yeah. I don't think you can help him here. There's no way you can build a smoke wall, honestly. It's probably not even worth it. Eyes on the prize. They'll just hunker down, wait for the kill to come through. They convert. Oh, they got them both.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, to be fair, they should have been dead anyway, mate. With how much that cow was completely tanked up to even to make it past 3 teams and make it to the wall, they were pushing it. Interesting one from Ivil. Simmers, he did know where the player was. He saw him running away. Unless he didn't, unless he just completely... I'm pretty sure he had eyes on him, though. Alliance do have the ridgeline. They can kind of hold Tornado for now at range, but they are outside the circle, so they need to make sure they get these knocks and then move in with the blue.
There's a decent ditch just to the east of them, so the west of them, sorry. So they should be safe being able to move into that for the moment. TSM, they've got this perfect ridgeline. Surprised, actually, they managed to get in there. It was left fairly open. Penta now pushing on the backside of Georgie Pol. That's North George being very much engaged. Fenerbahce off the coastline. OHM also in there alongside the likes of Gamer Legion that are just over the ridgeline. And basically that's what's keeping them safe. X-Team getting knocked. T-Bone. That was across the fields. He's going to get left for dead.
That's a banger of a shot, is that? That's a very decent amount of range as well, which...
I'm not sure Tornado's position here. I think they've found a ditch, but they're not quite in the circle.
I think
TSM are just going to...
TSM's been really a nuisance to them. They've been just firing shots every time they see a glimpse of them, so they're super, super protective now and just really begging for dear life that no one looks their way, unfortunately. 7 and Penta are about to smash into one another, though. I'm glad we nipped this fight. Grenade goes in. That might be good as well. In fact, no, you'll get that wall that will block him off. So that will do absolutely jack. But they're throwing him out left, right, and centre. There's plenty of them coming their way. Penta, they need to push in. They need to take this. The circle locks in and keeps almost everybody inside, so that's fine. It's what we expected. It's the only place it could really go.
It's going to force a couple of people to fight. Crew are going to have to fight the Jokers now. They're going to have to be the push in there. Erangel are going to squeeze forward, so they may start clashing with Alliance. We can see Tornado. They've tried to send it over the side. Melman might be able to get the res off here. TSM not quite got an angle, but that is outside the zone still. There is a decent defilade there. Penta continuing their pressure onto 7. Idlevice is getting the hell out of there, so Grag has been left for dead. Meanwhile, OHM and Fenerbahce starting to get very close to one another on the tip of Georgipol.
43 for the circle. It can fit. It's not bad. Especially the fact that there is that kind of trail edge of North Georgipol that can allow people to do whatever they want. Velen, the solo YOLO man, is still alive. Greg's dead. He's finished and gone. Chris now also falls to the whip of Mumino. A little bit of an answer back there. Puts him on his backside. Gustav now getting involved. Interesting. Kamka, that's the knock and the finish. So finally they get one out in the field. Now we're at a fair distance as well. That was the one that had split off, so they moved in for the res. They're now back to a 2. TSM finished one of them. Points in the bag for TSM. Alliance on the move though. This could be their time to really do some work here. They've got vehicles. They also have the crossroads that they can play off the back of. There's going to be a nice little area for them. And this was the onslaught, I want to say, of Penta. They didn't give it up in any way, shape or form. They knew what needed to be done. And they just flooded out 7 and took the compound from them.
Oh, that's the nade that got him. That was the nade that got Brexka. I was wondering what knocked him back there. I guess it did a bit of damage to him. Chris was also down, but he's back on his feet. Alliance still sitting in that little ditch. Tornado very close to him along with TSM. Isuba are really still in this pivotal position. And wisely, I've gone for a 2-2 split now because this is going to be a full north-south swing either way. The Jokers, they're lighting up Crew. Crew are trying to make this move, but it's a very risky one. They've already lost a couple of players trying to make the move themselves.
Let's see how they go about this, whether they push back on it. Jordan has found, I want to say,
Senya.
Oh, Senya.
Senya.
Excuse me, Senya.
Yeah,
Finds him with the SLR M4 in hand. Don't know what his gear is, but red dot on a dream. He can still do some damage with this M4. Depends what amount of... I'm seeing a comp on the end. That's always a nice sight to see. Under, looks like a grip as well, but the grenade, it goes up, it goes over. It's a underarm throw. Mobino's like, sorry, fam.
Yeah, they're pushing it. Penta are pushing it. He's going really slow, pulling away from this one. He's going to go straight into Gamer Legion, straight into Isuba. That is a bad choice, and it's actually Penta that will pick up the kill, peppering that poor little buggy as it tried to pull away. Crew, well, they tried to send it as best they could. Rupture's going to be the last man standing for them as they are down to 1. Joker's going to be finishing off this frag right here.
Bullet finds its mark, and he's another 16 points moving the way of Joker. Penta still sitting happy. Velen, he's just like, nah, you can all die around me, it's fine. I'm playing for placement here, boys. I lost 75% of my team in one swoop. TSM, they've now got company. They've got a field behind them. They've got 2 teams they need to be aware of. Joker's got a bit of room, and they've also got some nice compounds to play with.
Still 37 alive at this phase. We're about to lose a lot of people, I feel.
Look at the split for Isuba. I kind of like this.
It's a 2-2, yeah.
Talk about holding ground.
It's a big north-south. I mentioned it a moment ago. It's the saying they were spread, right? And it's worked out well. Look at that. Plumb center.
If they've got vehicles now, they can just bomb towards them. Or they can hold that ridge.
I think they can even just run it.
They could probably just hold the ridge, to be honest, thinking about it.
Oh, they've got to be careful, though. Look at that. Game of Legion sending it. They're going to try and go center, and they're heading straight towards them. It's going to be a 2-2 split between that they're going for, and it does give them the ridge line. They are safe from them. TSM have to make a move, though. Alliance, their ditch is still safe. Avangard only need to creep forward. Penta are going to be the ones that are pushing on the backside of TSM. They're starting to look engaged. They've got a knock in here. You can see Rory getting revived. Penta... It's a risky run, but it looks like they're going to try and make it and try and push for it.
They're an aggressive team that'll take full advantage. If they get one knock, they'll just say, right, let's have it then and crack on with it. Chris is getting up close and personal. Getting very close, to be honest with you. They're a little bit too close, very overzealous, but it's a decent range. You see fights on the opposing side. Turtle now giving away his position, but done the damage, hides back in his shell. Both players getting the med kit off, but the nade's going to go up and over. Udiat looking for a long-range Kobe. See if he can get something. Rory's got one of his own, though. You can see with the tracers, that's a pretty good nade. That'll get the vehicle. That'll be underneath him. Run, Rory, run. Down to about 10% HP. His gear and utility is going to be completely battered.
OHM and BSD trading down the bottom of their Fenerbahce. This was outside the tip of North Georgia. They're moving on to the hillside. Jokers, by the way, also making a push from South Zaki across and towards Isuba. They're all clashing with one another. We see Udir getting a knock onto Gustav, and Penta are absolutely going to push on that one. Gustav down. They have to back away. I don't think they're going to be able to smoke him out. Nades back and forward. I think the big surprise factor for Penta might be the backstab that could come from Tornado here, because X-Team and Melman still sitting in that little ditch waiting to see what plays out.
Now, Penta have been really clever about this one. They've just committed Chris to it. He went down, fine. But by knocking Gustav, they've built up a wall and run into the field. Positive, negative effect. Positive, they're ahead of TSM. They might actually be able to end the life here. Negative is that they're actually now in the eye line, unfortunately, of another team, and that team's going to be GL directly behind them. If they keep, if TSM can keep 4 up, this will be impressive. It's
I don't agree with Isuba staying 2-2. I'm not sure if it's possible. They could have regrouped, but OHM are about to run straight into them as well. Here goes Velen. Velen's trying to send it. The solo man for G2 can see if he can creep in, belly crawl his way inside the blue. He's going to have to med up once again as everybody else looks for frags. Penta peeling away down the south, trying to get around the backside. So they're going to find Velen in the blue, I feel. Jokers, meanwhile, making that push, clashing onto K-Dawn, getting him caught down on that hillside. Velen, you can see, tagging in the background. Kane getting taken down. Rory dropped. Alliance getting involved with the grenades now. So TSM on this wide spread around the field, trying to cover what they can, but everybody's safe in the zone.
I actually think Alliance were going for, I'm going to be honest here, I think Alliance were genuinely going for the last remaining L2 members of Tornado. All of a sudden, Rory and Gustav fall simultaneously. So TSM having problems of their own. Turtle's going to hunker down. Rory's gone. Wookie Bucky does, of course, have
Erangel pushing.
That's an AWM. That's not good for Alliance. This could be the deal breaker. Alliance looking for another top 3 finish. This would be good for them, and some points for the end of the day. Molman has to be careful though. When you hear that noise, you know the hammer. Thor's hammer's just coming your way. You have to run, run, run. The green machine.
T-Bone's offering the escape, I think, for Alliance. Alliance were looking to try and spread as much as they could in that northern circle. Now they realise we're going to have to share it with Avangar.
This is dirty, how they've allowed Maxi just to be a point of interest. So they've focused on him now. They know the Olm's lurking. The rest of the team of Avangar have pushed up. They're actually getting into Alliance's heels here. This ain't good.
Joker's getting straight up on Isubi. You can see in the bottom corner, Zupa and Kedjdawn both taken down. It leaves the free kill in the middle there alongside Swarker. Still central. Oh, he just got in his vehicle. I think he just adjusted it. Oh, hello. Avangar catching the nades. Alliance, Sigsy and Molman both going down. And this was looking like a potential strong finish for Alliance. I thought they were going to get another big points haul here, but you can see Michael sitting, living the nade life right now, trying to duck down as much as he can. Meanwhile, Turtle gets found out by Tornado Energy Battle, leaving Wookie the last man standing for them. Michael gets 1, gets 2, suddenly lights them up. Asperin will reply. Where is the last man, T-Bone? He needs to either keep himself hidden out the way or just try and finish off and flush the kills.
It's a good effort. He's held them back. It's allowed them to move forward. TSM, 9th place.
Wookie down.
That's rough. Avangar are going to get themselves back together. You can see the crawling.
This right here is what I expected from Isuba, right? They were on this hillside for so long with such an overlook, but they weren't going looking for Jokers. As soon as they get there, 4 alive, bang, let's get the shots, pick out these field rats.
Isuba's done the job. There's 2-2 split by losing the... Oh, God, Velen's still alive. Hello.
Yeah. It's creeping in, creeping in.
Last time I looked, he had no meds either on his last med kit, I think, or first aid. He definitely was looking short. Poor man's loot. 4 members of Jokers alive, but 4 members on the side of Avangar, that AWM. There'll be all kinds of problems. T-Bone's taking excessive amounts of fire. You'd expect this to be his final stand. Tornado also are on his back. Oh, no. They can see exactly where he is.
They found him.
Firing, lasering. How is he not alive? We're looking at the map and he's just getting lasered. But now, all of a sudden, Jokers with the SLR will turn the attention away.
Yeah, send your hammering away, but Jokers still need to keep on pushing down that hillside. Gamers Legion also going to have to squeeze on. UDMA5 going to keep on crawling. It's Avangar, though, that are taking control. T-Bone downed. Alliance out in 7th place as they start to cross the road. They're looking towards the hillside. They know the Joker's there, and they're going to get this ridge line. But Isuba are just the other side of it. They've got an angle. They see Tornado. They see the smoke down the side there. The knock comes in onto Jokers. Tam's going to get revived. That nade might well be on point. I think it's a little short. I'm not too sure it's quite got the legs. Yeah, it will just be a wee bit short. Second one, third one, though, all falling short. Tornado, though, realize they're in trouble. They're going to have to keep that smoke alive. Isuba go peeking. And a die.
Went for the hip fire, but it did enough damage for an Octave to come around and get the final cleanup, to be fair. Snoopy also tagging one up in the head. This is the problem, though. Maxi just comes along with this arm and just starts dinking people at range. It's like, ugh. He just completely taking his team apart one by one, and even just one knock can lead to putting a man out that has been forced to pick him up. They'll go for the res, and it can literally crack teams wide open. Meanwhile, Dimash just found an angle here.
Just ducking left, right, got this covered. Look at that.
He's focusing a lot on that one player, though. He's not focusing on all the rest of them that are going to be laying oncoming onslaught to him. He's getting aggressive, though. I like it. Look at this. Jokers are absolutely flooding him.
Tab on a great flank. He's got himself a clear angle down the road there, knowing he's got the cover from the hills, right? And look how aggressive they're being. Tornado pushing the other side as well. So Erangel are going to get squashed in between the middle as Tornado energy battle coming around the side. Asfrin gets flushed down. Maxizer instantly in the back there. Dimash comes over the side. Snoopy pops up, takes 2 down. Big performance from that man. He's been doing so well throughout, but he is the last man standing. Tornado energy battle still with 2 coming the other side of the hill. So he tries to lay up the nade. And now he looks to peek. Here's the feet behind him. Looks across, and Tornado, of all people, pop up and finish him off. So Erangel, who looks so strong, down in 5th place. Joker still with 3 alive. And now Gamer Legion get the crossfire. They finish off Tornado in 4th place. And would you believe it? Udir, who's been sitting deep in the little bushes, gets himself a top 3 finish.
He's just going to sit here and let this one unfold and try and third party the 2nd place.
No helmets for Jokers there. All of them have lost it. They've all been peeking like, I'm trying to think of something that pops up. Prairie dogs. No, prairie dogs, that's not the one I wanted. What is it? Meerkats. Meerkats, that's the one I'm after. Meerkats. Got there in the end. It's all right. Good job talking. It's not my job. Hamster with a Kar 98 certainly could land it. I mean,
he's aware, isn't he?
Udir's basically just going to keep on crawling in. He's got a potential 2nd place here as Gamer Legion and Jokers clash.
More importantly, he has the side of the circle, so he can actually crawl this all the way around and have to really worry about the circle. It won't catch him as he does just linger about. Macindat gets one with the grenades there. He answers back. I'd expect a big push here with 2 down. Well, sorry, with only 1 player being alive, because they can do the math, they can do the numbers and figure out at this point that he is only up. Long distance spray, try and at least find the target for now.
Got to be careful he doesn't spray down Dimash at the same time, kind of lined up, which is what Hamster was trying to use, right?
To be fair, I don't think you're going to go for it at this rate. No. I wouldn't have expected. Is he going to
could finish Hamster off here. He's going to see the revive. Good night, and he's going to get himself a 2nd place finish here. May well try and go for it. It's a 1v2. He's lying in the bushes. Senya looking for it. Pretty much
he's got no helmets.
He sees him. Neither of them have got helmets.
He could one-tap him.
But he's only got the scars. Has he not got an SLR on his back? I thought he did. I thought he had something. If you stand still, Senya,
bobbing and weaving, it's like...
That bush is annoying him. I know it is. That little leaf that keeps bobbing in front of his face. Creeps forward. Tab over to the right. Surely sees Tab. We can see them clear as day. Without the X-ray, it doesn't matter. We'll go down, and it's a back-to-back win and another 15-kill game for the Jokers. It is going to rocket launch them up the table. They dropped to 9th 2 rounds ago, and now I suspect they're way up